Oh my god, has it been a long time since I've done one of these. Okay, let's get right into this. This is my track, Abbasid. Yeah, and it should be released. I plan on releasing it within a few days, like right now. I just haven't yet, and this is the only time I'm going to have to do this. So let's get right into this. It's kind of a monster of a track, as you can see. And I'm going to go through how I did every single one of these, so or one of these sounds. So buckle up. It's you're in for a ride now. So first off, we have this. All right, so I'm just gonna go from like top down to like show what we have. So first, it's a kick drum. It's the AU5 kick from the Break Tweaker sample pack, and that it's just a really good drum. I've got it running through this. It's got a slight EQ on it, a little bit of a boost to the highs, and in this intro, it's getting high passed, and that is all I'm doing to it. Except I've got all of my like percussion and like effects and sweepers running into this drum bus right here, and I'm compressing it a little bit. Yeah, I've got this so I can like cut it all out. And I've got this because I high pass it eventually. So yeah, that's what's going on there. May as well just do the snare too. I got this. It's from a sample pack I think AU5 uploaded on Facebook a little bit ago, like a year and a half ago. It's a really nice like sharp snare, and I've got an EQ, high pass, boost, highs, whatever. I'm compressing it, just the smallest bit in the highs. This is barely doing anything, and Valhalla Room for the reverb. So that's what's going on with the snares, and I pretty much got like the hi-hats going through this. Like all of them are EQ'd individually, and the ride all getting put into the hats. Getting reverbed, and they're getting sidechained by both the kick and the snare, so it ducks a little bit. I've got this for when I want to just cut them out, and I've got this because I filtered them in the intro. So yeah, that's what's going on with all of the drums, so that I shouldn't have to explain it. And a lot of it, like the kick was the AU5 kick, this was that frequent snare, and everything else came from the Leviathan sample pack, except for these. This was Leviathan too, and these came from some random trap sample pack that some guy on Reddit made. So yeah, that's that. I've got these impacts this impact and this crash came straight from Leviathan, and I doubt I'm doing like anything to them except for like EQing. Yep, the crash, reverb, EQ. Pretty basic stuff. This white noise right here is just massive. I do this to it, so you can see all of the knobs getting moved. I'm pretty sure I'm just moving the dry wet, the volume of it, and the color. Just a basic noise sweep out of massive. I've got this thing, which was a cowbell from the Leviathan sample pack. This is what it sounded like raw. Cowbell 5. And then this is what it sounds like now. And I have reverb. I'm compressing it a lot. And I've also got this to cut it out, because balance is like my go-to for like making glitch stuff and cutting stuff out and fading stuff in. I've also got this thing, which, okay, so this is just an arpeggio, and It's just like a saw wave, 9 voices, lots of pitch, standard phase, I think, a little bit of panning, and this pluck shape right here. I just kind of like clicked around in it. There was no rhyme or reason to me doing this part. I just clicked around until I got the sound I wanted, and then I'm automating the pitch up. Don't think I have anything else going on. Yeah, I don't have anything else going on, except for delay and compression. And in here I've got a high pass and Valhalla room, which I use way more than I should, and the fruity balance, because like everything has a fruity balance in my tracks. Then we have this, and this is a pad from Serum, which is like my favorite thing ever. And this has a low pass opening up, and it's also got a low pass opening up, and this little bit of EQ, and a fruity balance, because, yeah. And it is just a saw wave with 9 voices, and Sam Serum wavetables with 4 voices, getting run through a formant filter, and I'm automating the formatting cutoff, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Yeah, and it kind of just like morphs around, and it's also got hyperdimension and reverb on it. So, yeah, that's all that's going on in that. What do I have down here? I've got the first bass you hear, which is I kind of just wanted like a big like cinematic, or like, I don't know what I would call it, but I wanted something that was just like would lay under the mix, and this is what I got. It's just it's 2 harmers. This one's just a sub. The top half is just a sub, and it's a sub preset I have that I made with like a pitch down, and that's literally it, and it's a square wave. So, I also knocked out all of the higher frequencies and the local EQ. But over here in the thing that matters, this thing, it's 2 oscillators, and this one is just a saw wave with 4 voices, a little bit of like messing with here, a little bit of pitch, and almost 0 pan, standard phase. It's got distorted log, 1 order of course, or 1 course stack order, or whatever. I tweaked some of the knobs over here to just make it not as crazy of an effect. I compressed it a lot. I'm doing nothing in any of the envelopes. And then the second half, or the second oscillator B, you have 0.02 detune, which gives it a little bit of a warbly. Like it's slight, but it's like moving around and stuff, and it's kind of, that's how you get Reese sounds, and I'm a fan of doing that for a lot of Reese neurobase stuff. And that's it for that. Thought I was high passing it for. Okay, so I'm not high passing it, which is weird, but I've got this sub and this is just a this band pass and this band stop, just kind of like whooshing around. I'm also automating the width of some of the bands, which is like making it form or morph and swirl around even more. Then I'm distorting it a little bit. It's more of a saturation than a distortion with Wave Shaper, and then that's getting split into 2. This is the Valhalla room again, because It's the best reverb ever. And this is 100% mix, which means it's 100% reverb. Like if I muted everything except for this, then it's just the reverb. So I have this going in so I can EQ all the lows out, because reverb on lows are just like super muddy. And so I knocked them all out, and I'm pushing all of this, the sub, the dry distorted tone, and the reverb onto this Maximus, and I'm doing a little bit of boosting on the highs, nothing on the mids and lows, and a little bit of boosting on the master. And that's just getting sent straight into this, which has a low pass on it, which opens up. Yeah, so that's bass one. I'm going to start going a little bit quicker because I have a lot of basses in this. I've got the hat pattern, this thing. Which is just like this cymbal pattern right there, and that fades in with volume and filter automation. Then I've got this thing, this little pluck, intro pluck, which like pretends to hold some sort of a melody, because this entire thing is very much a sound-based track, so I didn't have much of a melody, but the intro needed something. So it's literally just two saw waves with a ton of voices and a little bit of a screwy pluck shape, just being like automated up. The pluck is being automated. It's being distorted a little bit, has a little bit of reverb, compressed quite a bit. I have a low pass which is opening up, and this slight EQ. Yeah, so that's the intro pluck, and that might be everything for the intro. So we can get to the fun stuff. Oh, and I've also got these risers, which are straight out of the Leviathan pack. Another noise sweep, and yeah, that's basically. And I also, for the riser, this right here is a low pass or a high pass on the side and the drums, so it's knocking out all of the low frequencies of like the entire thing. And yeah, so it makes when the bass comes in during the drop, makes the bass a whole lot more present. It makes it hit harder, essentially, and that's what I was doing with that. So it drops, and I have this tom sample from the Leviathan pack, because I use a lot of stuff in the Leviathan pack. Just gets a great pack to have, and I just have it hit and then reverse to like swell back into it. I also have this reverse snare and this reverse kick straight into the drop, and this isn't even being processed. It's literally just in here raw. So it's a good sample. So then what we have is we have this cowbell and this cowbell right here, and I'm just taking these and like pitching them wherever. I chose this particular cowbell because it was an F, and this track is in the key of F minor, so I could just like pitch it around whenever I wanted. And yeah, so here we have the drop. And yeah, and so this first bass, where is it? So this bass right here was actually the first bass I made in this entire track. So right here, it's kind of crazy. This is going to be a long video, by the way, because like most everything is looking like this. So this is that same sub preset I had on the intro bass, And this right here is the thing that's like giving it an actual character. So it's got a lot of prism on it. It's a saw wave, 7 voices, almost no pan, because I usually don't have pan in my basses because it just kind of sounds messy and iffy. Pretty standard, moderate amount of pitch, regular phase, because I guess I just don't do a whole lot of phase stuff. 0.03 on detune, which again gives it that kind of warbly, morphy sort of feeling, which I really enjoy for neuro basses. Got this phaser going at, I think everything is actually just default except for mix, so that's pretty standard. This prism amount, the prism is going straight off, and essentially it's on for like maybe half a beat. And then harmonic prism, I just made this random shape to screw with the harmonics like crazy. So a lot of this was like guess and check, and then I found something I enjoyed. This is just like messing with the higher harmonics and a little bit of the lowers and mids. So it's mainly to screw with the higher harmonics, which like it affects it, but not a whole ton. But yeah, so I've got that log distortion, chorus order 5, which is what's giving him that like wet stereo, like sort of stereo feel, and it's being compressed like crazy. And that's getting high passed for the sub thing. And why does it have 2 high passes? Okay, so the one high pass is just so it can it's out of the way of the sub. The other high pass is to give it like a little bit of movement and like craziness. So I'm just automating it like up and down, and then that's getting sent straight into like some more distortion, saturation, whatever you want to call it. And that string is getting compressed. The highs are like being pushed real hard. The mids not so hard, but a little bit, and the lows not doing anything to you because all of the lows are in the sub, essentially. And the master, doing nothing to that. That's getting sent into a band pass. So I've got the 2 filters like getting automated for that. That's getting split into a reverb, which is 100% wet. Like I showed you in the intro bass. It's the same sort of idea, except I'm not doing anything after the reverb. I just have it on for a little bit of room and like width. The dry, the non-reverb bass and the sub are getting put into this Maximus for a little bit of mid compression, no low compression, a lot of high compression because you lose a lot of the highs when you do all this crazy filtering to it, and nothing on the master. And that's just getting sent out straight into this channel with a low pass for later voice crack, and that's getting routed into the side, which every synth is getting routed into the side, and it's getting sidechained by the kick and snare. And it's also got this low pass for like the riser and stuff. So that's bass 1. This is the second bass, promptly named bass 2. And this is actually just a harmer, so this one's relatively simple. It's saw wave. I do a whole lot of stuff with saw waves. 4 voices, a little bit of pan, really low pitch detune, standard phase. Phasers all the way on. The speed is like all the way up. That's what's giving it like that choppy-ish feel. That's the phaser. If I turn it off, turn it on. So there's that. This harmonic unison pitch. It's getting really. I set it so it's getting really detuned up in the mids to highs, and it's not so much in the lows and low mids. So there's that. It's getting distorted and it's getting compressed. Pretty standard. And what am I automating in here? Okay, so what I'm automating is this resonance filter right here. It's getting low. Oh, I missed this completely. It's getting low passed by Harmer's built-in filter, and I'm automating the resonance of that filter to go up, and that's what's giving it that higher harmonic content. As if I mute the automation, it's just going to sound like towards the end of it, it's getting automated up. It starts getting a little bit of a sharper, I hope you heard it, just a little bit of a sharper harmonic content. So there's that, and then it goes into this thing. Promptly named bass 3, because it's the third bass. This one's relatively simple. I've got the same sort of high pass for the sub, and this Harmer is a square wave this time, 3 voices, almost no pan, moderate amount of pitch, detune, and standard phase, which seems to be a theme. It's got a little bit of a phaser on, I don't know what it's, okay, so I think this one, yeah, I'm automating the high pass down, to give it, just to like add filter movement. I thought the high pass sounded cool, so I went with it. It's got flat hat distortion, it's compressed. I'm doing the same sort of detune a lot on the highs, or like the mid highs, and not so much on the lower mids, the lows and lower mids. Sorry if I'm stumbling over words. There's just like a lot to do, and also finals week. So there's that, and that's getting routed just straight into side. There's no post processing on that. Then there's this thing, probably named bass 4, and this one's actually an FM bass, and it's just modulator 1 being modulated by operator 1 being modulated by operator 2, and operator 2 being modulated by operator 3, with a bunch of like just random harmonics I drew in on 2 and 3. And there's also, instead of like just having 0.25 to have the clean like 4 octaves down, I put it at 0.256, which gave it a little bit of movement. The same way that adding like the 0.03 in Harmer did. It does the same thing essentially. It's got the same, the same effect, and that's kind of what I was going for. And then I'm just, I don't even think I'm automating. Yeah, I'm not automating anything inside of Citrus. I'm automating, that's to get it out of the way of the sub. That's to get out of the way of the sub. And then I'm automating this band stop, just to get some filter movement. And then I'm saturating it with the wave shaper, which, in case you couldn't tell, is kind of my distortion saturation tool of choice. So yeah, so the next thing is, so what I've seen somebody ask about this, how I got this to not have like the immediate hit, is I have a ghost kick, or a kick side chain as I call it, and I put that right where the cowbell would hit, so it just kind of ducked instead of me having to like manually do that. So I thought it was kind of neat, kind of clever, but that's just how I did it. So then I've got, and this is just a sub. It's the same sub preset that I use for everything. I really like the way it sounds, so I use it a lot, and that's not getting processed by anything. It's just kind of getting thrown into the sidechain channel. So this bass is screechy-ish, is what I called it. It's Patcher 5. I've got the same sub because because we're using the same sub over and over again, why not? And then I've got this thing, which has two oscillators, which is, it's a square wave and a little bit of a harmonizer. And let's see what's getting automated in this. I'm going to mute it so it's not crazy. So, yeah, this is what I'm doing. I'm automating the detune, and that's what this thing is. And this, if you don't know, is like, let's reset this. If you just have a note right here, if you move this up, like 2, what it does is it, like, if you see right here, it moves, or it increases the ratio from the fundamental or the bottom frequency and the higher frequencies. So like right here, this was the one that was on when it was on 2, and they're twice as far away as when it's on 1, which is when they're closer together. So when you're automating it like crazy like this up to 16 and back, it's a little bit crazy. I've also got the harmonizer getting turned on a little bit, the automation, and it's also the mix between it being a saw and a square wave is kind of like bouncing back and forth with this one right here, or the timbre mix rather. It's distorted and compressed, nothing going on in internal envelopes, and this is just a saw wave, which I really don't think is doing anything. Yeah, it's just a saw wave to give it more body and more like substance, I guess. If that's totally not the right word, but to give it more body and make it more full. Just a saw wave, 6 voices, like 0 pitch, a little bit of pan, a little bit of phase, and that's about it on that. That's getting run straight into the side, no post-processing at all. I've got this reverse snare, which is literally just the snare that I recorded and reversed, and it's getting faded in by a fruity balance. Surprise, surprise. Then we've got this thing. This one has a high pass on it because this is actually just, it's not in a patcher, so I did a high pass, and then I have a copy of the MIDI for the sub, so it still has low end. So what this is, saw wave, 6 voices, a little bit of pan, moderate amount of pitch, standard phase. I think this is actually higher than standard, but I've got the detune on 2 instead of 1. If it's like 1, it's on here. It's 2. So like putting it on 2 essentially makes it a square wave, because there are half as many harmonics in a square wave than there are a saw wave. So putting it on 2 turns a saw wave into a square wave. In theory, there's a little bit of difference because of how like Harmer's engine like works on it and everything, but essentially it's the same thing. The phaser is on just a little bit, but not too much. It's just like for a little bit of extra something, you know what I'm saying? So there's this harmonic using some pitch, which is doing the same sort of, like the mids and highs are getting, and not even the highs in this one, but like the mids are getting hit by the detune, the lows not so much, the mid lows not so much. Same sort of thing. Distortion, compression, which it's dubstep, like you distort and compress everything. It's just kind of what you do. Got this bass 6, which is another patcher. There's just a lot of stuff to go over. I've got the same sub. I've got a low pass to get rid of the sub in this. Got saw wave, a little bit of prism, 3 voices, a little bit of pan, moderate amount of pitch, relatively high phase, harmonic prism, I did this shape, just screwing around, trying to see what sounded cool. I've got the 0.03 detune to give it that racy, warbly feel. That's all I'm doing inside this. And then it's getting sent through. And then right here, I've got a high pass and a notch or band stop, like bouncing, and yeah, just being automated to add movement, and it sounds like that. I just kind of screwed around with the automation until it sounded like how I wanted. 1 second, I need to get water because this has been a lot of talking. How long have we been going for? 31 minutes. Jesus. Okay. I'm gonna do it all in one video. I don't even care. So we've got that, this, which we already went over. Thank goodness. This we might have already went over, which we did. Yeah, I used a lot of the sounds more than once because that's just kind of how it happens. And then this one's new. So I've got these two harmers right here, and the first one is just one oscillator. It's got 0.032 detune, which is just kind of, I messed around with it until I found what I liked. Two voices, but the pitch detune right here is being turned off like really quick, and that's causing it to kind of like settle in and not be so warbly. I've got that. I've also got this shape. It's the same sort of shape I've been using this entire thing for the same reasons. Distortion, compression, because it's dubstep. And then I've got the second one, which is this kind of like really kind of crazy, phasery sort of mess. And it's just saw wave, unison with these settings for the same reasons I've been using this entire time. Phaser, full speed, and on top of that it's got a balance, which is bringing it in on top of the other bass. So you can see here how the phasery one kind of like it gets thrown in there and mixed in with the other one. That's just getting routed straight into the sidechain. This right here is just the sub and the beep, and the sub is the same sub we've been using this entire time, and the beep is just massive square wave. Two oscillators, one of them's up an octave and like half on, one of them is 1 octave or on 0 and all the way on, and that is not even getting processed. And I'm pretty sure there was nothing going on and there's nothing going on inside everything. It's just square waves. So pretty basic. I've got this reverse kick to like bleed into the next part. Yeah. I think we might have already done this one. Whoops. Or have we? I don't think we have. So, yeah, we haven't. This one is just a sub, obviously, because that's just what I do. A lot of prism on. The prism gets turned off really quick, and it's a square wave. A lot of pitch, a little bit of phase, a little bit of pan. Phaser is all the way on. Harmonic prism. did this crazy shape, just clicking around, making it go back and forth and up and down and up and down. And soft sat, so like legitimate saturation and a little bit of compression. And I'm also like opening it up with a low pass, like that. So there's that. Then might have already done this one. Yeah, that's bass 1. Bass 9. We're getting there, I swear. The sub high pass combination, as always. So this is 2 oscillators. One of them is 2 octaves down with a little bit of prism, a little bit of harmonizer, saw wave, unison, just a little bit of everything, not too overkill. And there's no internal envelopes going, no phaser, no anything. Then the other one is only 1 octave down, and it's pretty much just like a little bit of a super saw. It's got 4 voices with moderate everything as far as unison goes, and it's got this combination of a filter and resonance going. So like when one closes, the other one's opening, which is giving it that like high sort of like peak you hear forming at the end when the resonance is starting to like actually open. Distorted, compressed, because again, dubstep. And you've got this thing, it's like dropping the high pass, or it's like modulating back and forth on the high pass. And then we have this distortion shape, which is just something I do when I want something like crisper or a little crunchier. Then it's all being compressed, not even being compressed. I just threw that in there because I thought I was going to do something with it, but I didn't. So there's that. I've got this right here, which is just an 808 I have. Super basic. It's right here. It's just slight EQ. I've got a balance on it, because when don't I have a balance on anything? It's getting like, the balance is being automated to 100%, and then I have this 808 right here with a cowbell. So it's like something super low and then something like mid-high for, and everything else just cuts out except for the crash. And I thought that was cool. And then whenever that. So we have this FM bass. We're getting there, I swear, at 40 minutes. So we have this, that is right here. It's a sub, goes sub, and then it's this citrus, full modulation 2-to-1, or the modulate frequency, full FM 2-to-1, a little bit 3-to-2. It's got 4 voices, which is actually what like made this sound the way it does, because like 4 voices at 0. So for some reason, just having 4 voices made it like really screechy for no reason. You've got not a whole ton going on, just a little bit of like wave editing of a little bit of frequencies, that higher frequencies that just got thrown in there because I thought it would sound cool, and it did. Frequency messing around with this, and yeah, everything started as a sine wave until I just like put random frequencies everywhere. And I'm automating, what is that? That notch. And yeah, that's what that is. And And I think that might actually be all of the bass sounds. Because we went up to this. We already went over these. Or whatever this is. I can't even find it. What in the world? So that might actually be nothing. No, it has a... Okay. Okay. So, I'll just go over like things my thought process or whatever for this part. Or what I did rather. So when it got to this like breakdown point, I low passed basically everything to like make it so it was nothing except for drums. And then I've got everything like building back in. The arpeggio was left in, but the this formant pad that I had in the intro got just like completely cut out, and it got brought back in from a low pass. And yeah, so it basically is just like the cowbell and the drums and the arp, and everything else is kind of building back in, and even the hats are getting brought back in. And right here, I just have a balance on like everything, and everything gets cut out, like right here, because I wanted just that cowbell, and yeah, and everything else is pretty straightforward. Then right here, I have the drums cut out. I've got a cowbell with another cowbell getting faded in, reversed, and yeah, this is just like a mess of like reverses and stuff, and I just wanted the second drop to kind of come out of nowhere, so I made it kind of crazy with like a second reverse snare like right after it, a cowbell reversed, which hadn't happened yet in the track, so I introduced that. Two cowbells back to back with a third one right there, and then the tom hit and reverse that we went over back in the first Razor. And then it's kind of just like the same stuff arranged differently in this whole thing over here. So if you really wanted to, you can like piece together which basses are where, if you're like wanting to like imitate this style for any reason. But yeah, and then I have my risers going like crazy, and another noise sweep by the end. And then it just ends on a noise sweep going down, and just like very suddenly and abruptly, and I liked that a lot. And yeah, that is my track, and I'm like 100% sure, or like 90% sure I covered everything. There's a lot of stuff going on everywhere. If I missed anything that you saw and you're interested, and you're just wanting to know what this one thing did, then please leave a comment down below, and I'll do my best to get back to all of them. If you have any questions about anything or why I did anything, let me know. I'm more than happy to explain myself and justify whatever I did. One thing I did not show is the master. The master, it has zero compression on the master except for a little bit because I moved this to the left. The low, it's got this shape, so basically what this means is if the sub is on, then it's going to be like the same volume, and I boosted that to like mix it in the way I wanted. and it's 100% mono, which is what this does. 100% mono. There's no compression on the mids, but it does have a little bit of stereo separation right here. No compression on the highs, but it has a little bit more stereo separation than the mids. So it kind of gets wider as like the frequencies get higher, which is something I usually do. And yeah, that's my mastering chain. So I'm glad I remember that, because I would have hated myself if I hit like render and I forgot that. So yeah, that's my track. I'm pretty sure I hit everything. And if I didn't, please let me know. If you made it this far, like, Jesus Christ, thank you. And you should subscribe, because more of this will come eventually. I'm going to do all sorts of different styles, so I hope there's something for me to teach you with every video I upload. But yeah, this is my track, and yeah, my friend's going to talk to me about Counter-Strike now. So I hope you enjoyed. You should consider subscribing, and I hope you learned something. So have a nice day. I'll see you in the next video.